If you're a team leader and you've been tasked with increasing employee productivity and creating some sort of training program to make that happen, you need to watch this video. So in today's video, I'm going to explain how to increase employee productivity across an entire department, a company, or a leadership group simply by implementing something called immersive simulation technology. Now, not only are we implementing immersive simulation technology, we're actually getting rich data points that allow us to benchmark and upskill those employees in key skill areas that directly relate to productivity. The most inefficient thing that most businesses do is their employee training. So before we even begin and dive into the skills data and immersive simulation technology, the first thing to think about is basically how much time are you wasting training employees without any real measurable results. Most companies put employees through these very extensive, honestly boring training programs, no matter what type of skill they're trying to develop, whether it's productivity or empathy or diversity, equity, inclusion, compliance, all that stuff, right? It's a whole bunch of wasted time on maybe simulations or old recorded videos that don't really provide you any value. Therefore, you're just sitting, wasting seat time with, 50, 100, even up to 2,000, 5,000 employees going through some sort of training program, and that wastes the company millions of dollars, and it's just really not productive, right? So that's the first thing that we need to think about. And just by switching to immersive simulation, that problem is solved because you'll be able to reduce your seat time by 50%, 75%. Now, before we get into the granular aspect of immersive simulation, let's talk about what it actually is, right? Because if you're not totally familiar with immersive simulation, you need to know that there's quite a big difference between traditional training videos and simulations versus immersive simulation. Now, the key difference with immersive simulation is that you're actually collecting data during those decision points. So let's say you have a 15-minute simulation for some sort of compliance topic, right? And you're going through this. At each decision point, the employee has to make a choice, right? Maybe it's a list of multiple questions, maybe it's a text answer, something like that, right? And if you are doing this properly, you're actually tracking key decision points and mapping those decision points to specific pieces of data so that when the employee finishes that training program, not only did they go through a quote unquote upskilling journey, they actually get data on, hey, you passed, you didn't, here's why, here are the skill sets that were below par or above par, right? So if you're doing that, you're getting actual real data that's trackable that you can use to make better decisions, but also the employees know where they're at and they can go back through those simulations and do the practice mode and basically upskill themselves. So you're benchmarking your skills and you're benchmarking specific journeys for skills in order to improve productivity across the company. So with that said, the actual benefits of doing immersive simulation are pretty vast when it comes to productivity. The first one is decision making. So once you are going through immersive simulations consistently with your employees and you have a specific training program around a specific topic, you're able to improve the decision making of all employees in a trackable, measurable way. Therefore, across the entire company, if your decision making skills increase by 10% or 15%, that creates a massive ripple effect across the company and allows for much greater productivity, because at the end of the day, efficiency and productivity comes down to making the proper decisions on what to work on, how to work on it, and who to work with. So that is the first most important thing when it comes to immersive simulations and the impact it has on productivity. If you can increase decision-making skills through these immersive simulations, you're going to see a tenfold increase in productivity across your organization or your department that went through that simulation. Another way to increase productivity through immersive simulations and skills data is by actually increasing employee engagement. Unfortunately, these old onboarding and training videos that are meant to upskill a specific department or group of people in an organization are flat out boring. They reduce employee engagement and make most employees more upset about the process of training, about learning, or the process of just having to do anything like that in the first place. Whereas immersive simulations, because you have stopping points along the way in the simulation where employees actually get to engage, think about their decisions, learn and reflect on their decisions once the data points are spit out at the end of the simulation, they're able to feel more engaged with that specific training program. And therefore, all of those changes and upskilling behaviors are actually going to stick. And that is super important when it comes to productivity, because if you can just increase employee engagement, you will definitely increase productivity over the long term in a tangible, measurable way. The most important piece of immersive simulation is the data. So when you are going through a traditional training program on pretty much any topic, you just don't have the data. But luckily with immersive simulations, like we mentioned in the beginning of this video, you can basically map certain decision points to specific data at the end of the simulation, and that data can inform decisions about an entire organization. So let's say that you have some piece of the company that is being extremely inefficient, or they're not getting a result in a specific area, and you need to basically figure out why or create a training program to solve the problem. Now, usually you would just create the training program, make everyone go through it, and then tell your manager or your executive or the board that, hey, this happened, here's the impact of it, it's great, and everything's good. But unfortunately, that doesn't actually provide any real tangible evidence of behavior change or skill change. Whereas with immersive simulations, you're actually tracking and benchmarking where those employees' skills were. And when you do that, you're going to see, oh, this problem in the business is likely happening due to the lack of this specific skill that our immersive simulations uncovered. Once that's determined, you can go back to your board or your executives or your boss or manager and explain, hey, I just discovered with this brand new immersive simulation technology that these specific skills are totally lacking on this department. And that is likely the reason why we're getting this bad business result here or there. And then on top of that, you can not only measure and benchmark where people are, but then you can put people through a new immersive simulation or continue to put them through that on practice mode to upskill them on those specific skills. So not only are you addressing the problem, you're actually fixing the problem and solving it through immersive simulation. And it's only possible because of the rich data that you get with true immersive simulation. So I hope that makes sense. Definitely start using immersive simulations to increase productivity and create better training programs in your company. When you do, you'll notice a massive difference, but the best part is the results will actually be tangible and you'll have real numbers to provide to your board or to your executives or to your manager. So hope that helps.